Welcome. This is Dodd Dixon, and joining me is Grayson Brookshire. We're here at the Kentucky High School Athletic Association Region 5 Regional Swim Meet. These are the preliminaries. We're in Barberville, Kentucky at Union College. You can see the practice pool in front of you, and off to your left is the competition pool. We have several different teams competing here today. Some of the teams that we have: Madison Central, Dunbar, Tates Creek, Henry Clay, Model, Lexington Christian, Bryan Station, Lafayette, Montgomery County, Sayre, North Laurel, South Laurel, Corbin, Rockcastle, Pulaski County, amongst other teams competing here today. First event of the day is the girls' 200-yard medley relay. Grayson, who are some of the teams we have competing, and what lanes are they in?
Well, in Heat 3, going left to right. In Lane 2, you have South Laurel. In Lane 3, Berea. In Lane 4, Lexington Christian. In Lane 5, Paul Lawrence Dunbar. In Lane 6, Henry Clay. In Lane 7, Model. In Lane 8, Pulaski County. In Lane 9, GRC.
This is the girls' 200-yard medley relay. They're going to be swimming each of the 4 strokes. First stroke is the backstroke. Now, some of the teams competing in Lane 5 is Paul Lawrence Dunbar. Competing for Dunbar is Sydney Toth, Cora Harder, Jelinek, and Sarah Phillips. Now, the time to beat is Madison Central's time. They were in Heat 1 and they swam a 1:52.54. And Tates Creek was the winner of Heat 2. They had a time of 1:54.77. So some of the teams competing here in Heat 3 have a lot to accomplish.
The Region 5 record for this event is 1:47.43. Set by Paul Lawrence Dunbar last year. So even though it's prelims, we'll see if any of these teams can get close to that mark.
In Lane 6 is Henry Clay. Swimming for Henry Clay is Eleanor Clifton, Lauren Steigers, Hannah Freibert, and Jacqueline Engel. Model is in Lane 7. Swimming for Model is Lily DePrez, Lauren Shepard, Eliza Miller, and Maddie Nasrallah. In Lane 4 is Lexington Christian. Swimming for Lexington Christian is Michaela Flauter, Emily Davis, Katie Waitliff, and Laura Beth Crouch.
And there you saw Dunbar, and I think it was Henry Clay finishing it out there in the last little bit of the relay, as the other teams are finishing now as well.
Looks like Dunbar had a final time of 1:53.51. That should set them for second in the prelim. So obviously they're going to be going to finals. Looks like Madison Central was first out of Heat 1, Dunbar second out of Heat 3, and Tates Creek was third out of Heat number 2.
Now in the boys' 200-yard medley relay, we have in Heat 3, Rockcastle in Lane 2, GRC Lane 3, Lexington Catholic in Lane 4, Paul Lawrence Dunbar in Lane 5, Henry Clay in Lane 6, Montgomery County in Lane 7, Southwestern in Lane 8, and Knox Central in Lane 9.
Swimming for Montgomery County is Travis Toy, Samuel May, Will Wise, and Spencer Tabor. Swimming for GRC, Richard Roach, Colby Burks, Christopher Stefanski, and Zane Logan. For Knox Central is Kendall Gray, Jared Hall, Tanner Parson, and Jordan Evans. For those that have watched Swim Kentucky or KRCC, you might be familiar with some of those. We've covered some meets in which those young men have swam in. Now the time to beat is out of the Heat 2, it's Tates Creek. They had a time of 1:38.98 today. Swimming for Tates Creek was Ethan Kramer, Landon Clark, Ethan Pearl, and Stone Sellers. Out of Heat 1 was Madison Central. Swimming for them was Chase Baldwin, Mitchell Collins, John Bubka, and Trent Lakes. So let's see what the top teams can do today.
As you see, Dunbar is in the lead right now. Got about a body length ahead of Henry Clay and Lexington Catholic. Good flip turn.
This is preliminaries out of Region 5. We're here in Barberville, Kentucky, Union College.
And there's Dunbar winning their heat. Henry Clay coming in second.
Looks like Dunbar had an unofficial time of 1:41.64, and Henry Clay had an unofficial time of 1:46.26. That should have them set up for finals. Tate's Creek appears to come in first at prelims, Dunbar second, Madison Central third, and Henry Clay fourth. We'll be giving you coverage 2 days worth here at Barberville.
As we go on to the next event, the girls 200-yard freestyle. In heat 4 of 6 in the prelims, in lane 1 we have Julia Clark, lane 2 Alyssa Phillips, lane 3 Maddie Fogel, lane 4 Emma Lloyd, lane 5 Emily Davis, lane 6 Caroline Azel, lane 7 Jessica Pope, lane 8 Maggie Davis, lane 9 Rhiannon Sprodlin, lane 10 Julia Peebles.
Region 5 record was set in 1998 by Lexington Christian Academy's Brandy Beckwith. Time was 1:52.69. This is the girls' 200-yard freestyle.
Be sure to visit krcc-tv.com to watch all these races as you can see right here.
Broadcast every Sunday. We have athletic events from around Kentucky. Like had a good flip turn there.
In lane 5, there's Emily Davis leading the heat currently. She came into the heat with a best time of 1:58.77 for this year.
The time to beat so far today in this event is held by Brooke Tompkins, the winner of Heat 3, a freshman from Madison Southern. She swam this event in 2:36.02 today. Looks like several girls are on pace to beat that time. Okay, looks like had Emily Davis from Lexington Christian Academy, who's just completed. She swam that in 1:57.77, unofficial results, so that ought to put her way out ahead, gave a target for all the other girls to beat. Carolyn Easel, looks like she was second, a freshman from Lexington Catholic, and she has an unofficial time of 2:02.38.
And those are the times to beat for this next heat of girls. Heat 5 of 6 in the prelims for the girls' 200-yard freestyle. In lane 1, Carly Greenlee. Lane 2, Kyrie Meese. Lane 3, Anna Louise Cooper. Lane 4, Jamie Smith. Lane 5, Haley Todd. Lane 6, Tilly Baldwin. Lane 7, Lauren Bravard. Lane 8, Madeline Lee. Lane 9, Kaylin Coffey. Lane 10, Caroline Kropp.
A lot of girls competing in this race. Top swimmer is from what school, Grayson? From the seed times.
The top swimmer for from the seed right now is Haley Todd of Lafayette. Should be in lane 5 in this heat, and her personal best is just a little bit better than Emily Davis's, and so that's the time to beat already.
So we'll see if this Lafayette swimmer can beat young Miss Davis, who had a really good time today, 1:57 in the 200-yard freestyle. Got a 25-yard pool here, so have 8 laps of the pool. Flip turns become really important here. You need to be able to power through this event, but then also you need to make sure that on the flip turns you get a real good push off. We're here in Barberville, Region 5 competition, 2014 Region 5, Kentucky High School Athletic Association Swim Championship.
And there was Haley Todd and then Tilly Baldwin following shortly after her.
Haley Todd had an unofficial time of 1:59.41, so it looks like Miss Davis is still leading this in preliminary competition.
In the last heat of the girls' 200-yard freestyle is off. In this heat, be looking for Abigail Wrightson in lane 5, also from Lafayette.
Who are some of the girls competing here, and what schools are they competing with?
In lane 1, we have Brianna Bogle from Southwestern. In lane 2, Christiana Swartz from Model. In lane 3, Celine Steele from Lexington Catholic. In lane 4, Jessie Kono from Henry Clay. In lane 5, Abigail Wrightson, Lafayette. Lane 6, Lauren Denham from Paul Lawrence Dunbar. In lane 7, Michaela Flaher from Lexington Christian Academy. Lane 8, Lily Ear from Lexington Catholic. Lane 9, Meredith Meeker from Madison Central. And lane 10, Sydney Henderson from Tates Creek.
This is the final heat of preliminary competition of the girls' 200-yard freestyle. The time to beat was out of Heat 4, Emily Davis, Lexington Christian Academy, 1:57.77. Top swimmers advance to tomorrow's final competition. Everybody's swimming for that coveted final slot.
I think the top 16 in each event, and then 2 or 3 alternates depending on the event get to swim for the next day.
Girls 200-yard freestyle, 8 lengths of the pool.
And there's our leaders right now in the middle lanes. Finishing.
Looks like Celine Steele, was that the winner of this heat?
Yeah, in lane 3.
Celine Steele from Lexington Catholic looked like she had the best time. She'll be the top swimmer advancing to finals competition with a 1:56.33.
And here's a view of the warm-up pool that the Barberville Swim and Aquatic Center has as well. So the athletes can stay warm and get warmed up before their events. And moving on to the boys' 200-yard freestyle. In Heat 3, we have William Kane in lane 1 from Pulaski County. Christopher Stefanski in lane 2 from GRC. In lane 3, Gabe Lane from Tates Creek. In lane 4, Richard Roach, GRC. In lane 5, Hayden James from Paul Lawrence Dunbar. In lane 6, Jack Humphreys, Henry Clay, In lane 7, Brian Gibbs, Knox Central. Lane 8, Evan Roberts, Southwestern. Lane 9, John Rowland, JNC. In lane 10, Stephen King, OB.
I believe OB stands for Anita Baptist. They're coached by Kirby Parkhouse. And then Johnson Central is coached by Dwight Chaffins. Some schools from Eastern Kentucky. Johnson Central has a pretty good swim tradition. They're competing here in Region 5 competition. Obviously the teams to look for. Dunbar has had a pretty good track record here in the past. So has Henry Clay. I believe in 2012, the combined score, Henry Clay was second, LCA was third, and Dunbar came in first that year. The team to really beat here is Dunbar. You got to watch out for them. Madison Central does have a pretty good tradition as well. Got several swimmers competing here today. It's a 2-day event. Who's the winner in that heat?
Some of the guys finished there. The winner of that heat is Hayden James from Paul Lawrence Dunbar.
Looks like Jack Humphreys out of Henry Clay was second in that heat. Richard Roach from George Rogers Clark was third, and Brian Gibbs from Knox Central was fourth in that heat. So good quality time. A time to beat is 1:47.78 by Hayden James from Paul Lawrence Dunbar.
And now on to Heat 4 of the boys 200-yard freestyle. In lane 1, Clay Barnett from Sayre. In lane 2, Austin Walter, North Laurel. Lane 3, Travis Toy, Montgomery County. In lane 4, Christopher Jackson, Model. In lane 5, Ethan Kramer, Tates Creek. Lane 6, Trent Lakes, Madison Central. In lane 7, Mark Guinness, Montgomery County. In lane 8, Evan King, Lafayette. In lane 9, Ryan Moulton, Henry Clay. In lane 10, Jacob Greenlee from Bourbon County.
Hayden James was the winner of the heat immediately preceding this from Dunbar, sophomore, time of 1:47.78. See if anybody can beat that time. That's the time to beat. However, everybody's swimming for the opportunity to advance to finals tomorrow. Region 5 record time is held by Nick Wrightson from Henry Clay, a time of 1:42.23. That was set in 2011. This is the second year in a row that we've been here in Barberville in Union College. 2012, this meet was held at Eastern. Some of the universities have really good facilities that you can go to. A lot of the teams competing here today have competed at Transy and Eastern.
And that was Ethan Kramer winning that heat.
Looks like Kramer from Tates Creek had an unofficial time of 1:46.29, so that puts him ahead of Hayden James. That's the new time to beat.
In the final heat of the boys 200-yard freestyle prelims, we have in lane 1 Hyatt Webb, Paul Lawrence Dunbar. Lane 2 Ethan Phipps, BBV. In lane 3 Eric Dobias, Tates Creek. In lane 4 Genghis Goodman, Henry Clay. In lane 5 Ethan Curl, Tates Creek. Lane 6 Kyler Johnson, Lafayette. Lane 7 Scotty Street, Henry Clay. Lane 8 Garrison Vasek, Paul Lawrence Dunbar. In lane 9 Connor Brady, Paris. In lane 10 Connor Sturgill, Paul Lawrence Dunbar.
This is the final heat of the boys 200-yard freestyle. 8 laps of the pool.
Coming into this event, Ethan Curl, lane 5, has the fastest time coming into today's regionals, so we'll see if he can beat the current time of 1:46.29 held by Ethan Kramer. Also, another heavy hitter in this event is in this heat is Kyler Johnson from Lafayette, swimming in lane 6 right behind Ethan Curl. As you see, Curl already has about a body length and a half lead on Johnson.
Encourage everyone to go to SwimKY, www.swimky.com. Have news and articles and results, as well as video of meets that have been held in the past.
And there was Ethan Curl finishing in a time of 1:43.52, so right on his personal best coming into this.
It's kind of nice.
Now the girls' 200-yard individual medley.
This is Heat 4. The swimmers to look out for in this event are Morgan Lakes, Madison Central, in lane 5. Madeline Meeker, also Madison Central, in lane 4. And Lauren Mahana in lane 6, Lafayette, are your fastest coming into today's. event.
Region 5 record time is held by a swimmer from Model, Kaylin Burchell. That was set in 2009. Regional competition. The time was 2:06.96. 200-yard individual medley. Each swimmer will swim each one of the 4 strokes.
As they move on to the breaststroke, it is, I believe, Morgan Lakes, and then behind her is Madeline Meeker, teammates who train together and are competing side by side right now.
Each swimmer will do all 4 of the strokes, 2 lengths of the pool. Looks like Morgan Lakes is really turning it on. What was her time that they have on the sheet for her projected time?
Coming into the event, her season best is 2:08.27, which is the fastest of any of the girls in all the heats.
2:08, that would put her 2 seconds within the record time, so it doesn't appear that she's on record-setting pace, but it is just preliminaries. She's probably just saving herself for the finals tomorrow.
Just securing her position right now.
Looks like Lakes from Madison Central has an unofficial time of 2:11.03. That would place her in the fastest so far today.
Her teammate Madeline Meeker finished 4th in prelims with a time of 2:16.98, so not that far off of Lakes. And moving on to the Heat 1 of the boys 200 IM. In lane 2, as you see right there, that is Mark Thomas from GRC. In lane 3, Cameron Coffey from Montgomery County. Lane 4, Fyra Sofyan from JNC. In lane 5, Jordan Evans from Knox Central. In lane 6, Michael Lawn, Corbin. Lane 7, Tegan Parkhouse from Oneida Baptist. In lane 8, Hassan Salim, North Laurel. In lane 9, Arjun Kanther, lane North Laurel.
This is the boys' 200-yard individual medley relay. Just finished up butterfly, heading into the backstroke. Need somebody that has some good endurance and good skill set for all 4 of the different strokes.
And quickly out to the lead is Jordan Evans from Knox Central in lane 5.
All the officials there watching to make sure there's not a stroke violation.
And most of these officials are volunteers, so a big thanks to all of them for working this meet and having it done quickly and successfully. And Jordan Evans has about 2-3 body lengths ahead of his next competitor, who is Michael Lawn from Corbin, who's coming up and gaining some ground quickly on the breaststroke.
This is the first heat. How many heats do we have competing today, Grayson?
In the boys 200-yard IM, we have 4 heats consisting of 10 swimmers each. And in the last 25, it is still Jordan Evans, but Michael Lawn is chasing him down, actually making this halfway decent of a race towards the finish. And I believe Evans just nudged him out. There's Mark Thomas from GRC finishing it out in lane 2. His best coming into this was a 3:16. Good swim for him. Moving on to the boys' heat 4 of the 200-yard IM. Looking for Chase Baldwin, coming in with the fastest time of 1:55.69.
Looks like we had 2 disqualifications. Mark Thomas from GRC DQ'd for arms underwater on the butterfly. Jordan Evans was also disqualified. Just did a one-hand touch on the breaststroke.
So your winner from Heat 1 was disqualified, opening up some room for everyone else.
That's why it's important to have the officials there. They're not just standing there taking up space. They're watching to make sure that each one of the strokes are complied with.
As Chase Baldwin from Madison Central leading there, followed by Ben Pierce from Lexington Catholic.
What was Baldwin's seed time in this event?
It was 1:55.69, which was the best time of all the boys by about a second or so. So not much, but still the fastest coming into the regional in this event. Ben Pierce about a body length behind, and Andrew Stedfan close to Pierce as Baldwin wins that heat, followed by Pierce, followed by Stedfan. Some of the fastest times for today in that event. Moving on to the girls' 500-yard freestyle. This is a quick event. Heat 1.
It's a girls' 50-yard freestyle.
The fastest girl in this event is GRC's Mackenzie Portwood in lane 5. And then another GRC swimmer in lane 9, Savannah Green, also competing in this event. And as you see, there's Portwood right there leading the charge. And I believe that's around a 34, so much faster than their times going into today. I believe that's about 6 seconds better than what they were listed as. And now for Heat 7 of the girls' 50-yard freestyle.
Who's competing in this heat, Grayson?
There's a lot of Tate's Creek, Sydney Henderson in lane 2, Shier Bowles in lane 4, Jesse Blackwell in lane 5. There's also Caroline Browning from GRC, all swimming under 30 seconds for a 50-yard freestyle.
Heat 8's in the pool. Who's competing in Heat 8 today?
The fastest from Heat 8 is also from Tate's Creek, in lane 5, Mallory Shake, whose personal best before this is 24:81. Looking for her to get close to that and win her heat. As you can see, they're all really close. There's not much room to do much in this event because it is a short sprint in the pool. This is Heat 9 of 9 in the girls' 50-yard freestyle. And they're off.
Who's competing in this heat, Gray?
be looking for Alexander Phipps in lane 5, who has the fastest time out of any of the girls with a 21.92, which is not too far off the Region 5 record, but in these short events it can seem like a whole heck of a lot. Just 1 second. As you get a glimpse of third place there.
We have the final results in the girls' 50-yard freestyle. In 8th place, Ferguson from Dunbar. Tying for 6th place, Engel and Harder. Engel's from Henry Clay and Harder's from Dunbar. Courtney Younger from Dunbar was 5th. Jessie Blackwell from Tate's Creek, 4th. Molly Ford from Madison Central was 3rd. Mallory Shake from Tate's Creek was 2nd. And today's winner in the preliminaries of the girls' 50-yard freestyle, Kyrie Dobson of Lafayette with a time of 23:95.
And here is the last heat, Heat 8 of the boys 100-yard freestyle. Finishing up very quickly. I believe that was Andrew Freebert from Henry Clay winning that heat. As you get a shot of 6th place there and about a 57, so all of them were under a minute. As we move to Heat 4 of the girls' 500-yard freestyle, the longest event in the pool. In Heat 4 of 4, we have in lane 1 Keelan Coffey, Rockcastle. Lane 2, Madeline Lee, Madison Central. Lane 3, Lauren Bravard from Paul Lawrence Dunbar. Lane 4, Jamie Smith, Henry Clay. Lane 5, Morgan Lakes, Madison Central. Lane 6, Tilly Baldwin, Madison Central as well. And lane 7, Jessica Pope, Knox Central. Lane 8, Christiana Schwartz, Model. Lane 9, Mackenzie Crowell, GRC. And lane 10, Carolyn Kropp, Tate's Creek.
The Region 5 record time in this event was set in 2012, and the time is 5:09.18.
And I believe Morgan Lakes and Tilly Baldwin are the two closest to that, coming in the day with 5:13 and a 5:17. As you see, we are getting closer to the finish here. I believe this is the last little bit for Morgan Lakes as she is finishing. And Morgan Lakes, as you see, gets a time of 5:13.13 on the board there, followed by her teammate Tilly Baldwin. So Madison Central goes 1-2 in this heat of the girls 500.
Have some final results in the boys 100-yard butterfly. Zachary Bird from Henry Clay was 8th. Stone Sellers from Tate's Creek was 7th. Christian Casey from Lafayette was 6th. Cameron Younger from Dunbar was 5th. James Swartz from Model was 4th. Chase Baldwin from Madison Central 3rd. Mitchell Collins from Madison Central was 2nd. And today's winner in the prelims in the boys 100-yard freestyle, Landon Clark from Tate's Creek. I stand corrected, that's the boys 100-yard butterfly results that I just announced.
And as most of the girls are finished up here in the 500-yard freestyle, and as we get a good look at most of the teams competing here today, as you saw, North Laurel, Corbin, Knox Central, each of the schools has a designated area for where they can lounge around and stay.
Final results for the girls 100-yard freestyle. In 8th place, Jessie Blackwell from Tate's Creek. 7th place, Sarah Phillips from Dunbar. 6th place, Abigail Wrightson from Lafayette. 5th place, Lauren Smartco from Lexington Catholic. 4th place, Haley Todd from Lafayette. 3rd place, Molly Ford from Madison Central. In second place, Mallory Shake from Tate's Creek, and the winner in the preliminaries in the girls 100-yard freestyle, Kyra Dobson.
Most of these teams are here today that have traveled close to an hour and a half or so from Lexington and around that area. As you see, most of the teams all listed here. Glad that they could all make it due to snow and bad weather forecast for this area. And here is heat 2 of 2 for the boys 500-yard freestyle as they begin this event. Be looking for Ethan Curl from Tate's Creek, who is your favorite by about 20 seconds, which is a significant amount in this event. He comes in the day with a 433.95 for a 500. See if he can get close to that, and if he goes under that, then he will beat his own region record of 439.20 set last year, as he's already out to a lead.
Final results in the girls 500-yard freestyle: Lauren Brevard from Dunbar, 8th. 7th, Jessica Pope from Knox Central. 6th, Lily Illier from Lexington Catholic. 5th, Michaela Flauher from Lexington Christian. 4th, Tilly Baldwin from Madison Central. 3rd, Carolyn Easel from Lexington Catholic. 2nd, Emily Davis from Lexington Christian. And today's winner in the girls 500-yard freestyle, Morgan Lakes from Madison Central, at the time of 5:13.13.
And there you see Ethan Curl closest to you, leading by a significant amount.
Curl is a swimmer from Tate's Creek in his senior season.
Should be about to finish. Already finished. And there's Curl, your winner for the prelim heat overall, actually.
Has a time of 4:38.32 in prelims. It looks like that is a region record. Looks like he beat his own record time set last year, 4:39.20. As a junior, Ethan Curl set that time, and now in preliminary competition, the senior from Tate's Creek has beat his own time.
And that's just prelims, so can't wait to see what he can do and pull out in finals tomorrow, as we are going to the girls 200-yard freestyle relay, heat 2. In lane 2, there's George Rogers Clark. In lane 3, Corbin. In lane 4 is
Ryan Station,
excuse me. In lane 5, Tate's Creek. In lane 6, Lafayette. In lane 7, Rockcastle. In lane 8, Berea. And in lane 9, Knox Central.
Girls swimming for Lafayette are Haley Todd, Lauren Mahana, Abigail Wrightson, and Kyra Dobson. Swimming for Bryan Station are Eleanor Mooney, Laura Vissels, Ariana Abad, and Allie Peoples. Girls swimming for Corbin, Carolyn Reedy, Brooke Way, Emma McGraw, and Parker Heron. For GRC, Carolyn Browning, Riley Weckworth, Mackenzie Portwood, and Mackenzie Crowell. Those are some of the girls that are swimming here today in this particular heat.
And there's your leaders on the last flip turn. Going into the finish, I believe that's Lafayette with the lead, just barely. And Lafayette wins that heat.
Looks like Lafayette's unofficial time is 1:40.42. Really close to the Region 5 record time.
And there's George Rogers Clark finishing it out.
like GRC's time will be 2:06.37.
And moving on to Heat 3 of 3 in the girls 200-yard freestyle relay. In lane 2, it is Bourbon County. In lane 3, JNC. In lane 4, Model. In lane 5, Paul Lawrence Dunbar. In lane 6, Henry Clay. In lane 7, Sayer. In lane 8, Southwestern. And in lane 9, South Laurel.
Swimming for South Laurel, Hayden Combs, Katie Vance, Emma Hedrick, Sydney McWhorter. Competing for Bourbon County, Casey Cormican, Kaylee Jolly, Maddie Greenlee, and Jamie Margolin are the girls swimming for Bourbon County. Competing for Henry Clay is Liu, Smith, Kono, and Steigers. Some of the girls competing today in this heat of the girls 200-yard freestyle relay.
And there's your leaders. I believe in lane 5, that is Paul Lawrence Dunbar, followed by Henry Clay. Dunbar has about 3 body lengths of a lead right now.
You're watching Region 5 competition in the Kentucky High School Athletic Association Swim Championship. This is the preliminary competition, day 1. Tomorrow, have coverage of the finals from Region 5. It's the second year in a row we've been here at regional competition.
And that was Dunbar winning that heat at the time of 140.93. which puts them, I think, in the top 3 of prelims, so they'll definitely be moving on to finals. See, most of the relays get to move on to finals. Only a few get cut from the list because there are, I believe, 16 or 18 spots for finals, and there are only maybe 22 teams here today. We move on to the boys 200-yard freestyle relay. This is heat 2 of 3. Oneida Baptist in lane 2, George Rogers Clark in lane 3, Model in lane 4, Lafayette in lane 5, Tates Creek in lane 6, Lexington Christian in lane 7, and Bryan Station in lane 8.
Competing for Bryan Station is Corbin Ellens, Christian Guys, Ethan Ferguson, and Evan Rushing. Competing for George Rogers Clark are Ethan Weckworth, Zane Logan, Christopher Stefanski, and Colby Burks. Models relay team members are composed of Jack Miller, senior, junior Sam Shepard, and sophomores Christopher Jackson and James Swartz. Tates Creek, we have senior Mo Abdallah, junior Eric Tobias, sophomore Cameron Weiss, and a middle schooler Hunter Johnson. Competing for Lexington Christian are Michael Binkakis, Smith Dickens, Michael McClellan, and Seth Stevens.
And there you have the leaders in lane 4 and 5. Lafayette leading this heat. And there's George Rogers Clark sending off their last swimmer.
Region 5 championship record time is 1:27.24. That was set in 2009 by Dunbar. Relay team members that set that record were Pleasance, Troutman, Kendall, and Bruck. It's the boys 200-yard freestyle relay.
As they all finish up there, you get a glimpse of the scoreboard. The winner from that heat finishing in about time of 1:30. Moving on to the final heat of the boys 200-yard freestyle relay. Looking into this event, Paul Lawrence Dunbar in lane 5 has the fastest time of any of the relays, coming in with a 1:27 .81, so be looking for them to be close to the regional record.
Who are some of the other teams competing in this heat?
In lane 2, there's Pulaski County. In lane 3, Knox Central. In lane 4, Sayre. In lane 5, of course, Paul Lawrence Dunbar. In lane 6, Montgomery County. In lane 7, JNC. In lane 8, Madison Southern. And in lane 9, South Laurel.
Swimmers competing for Montgomery County: Spencer Tabor, a senior; Benjamin McGinnis, a senior; Samuel May, a sophomore; and Hank Neal, a middle schooler. Competing for Dunbar: Brooks Marquette, Zach Datillo, Cameron Younger, Adam Harder. Swimmers competing for Sayre: Raleigh Mills, Nick Wan, Will Kammerer, and Joseph Murphy. This is the final race in coverage and preliminary competition. This is Dodd Dixon and Grayson Brookshire. We'll be bringing you the final competition here in Barberville at Union College in Region 5 competition at the Kentucky High School Athletic Association. You can find us on krcc-tv.com and also on Time Warner Cable, Channel 306. Also, we have meets archived at swimky.com. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow at the finals competition in Region 5.